And there's an element of truth to that. If you're a boss, you know that if you could be fired, you're a little more insecure, and you're watching whether the boss approves of you or doesn't approve of you a little bit more. If you're more secure, you don't worry so much. And we've come to the conclusion that that is just the way the human species is, and so we have to increase the stakes, the fear level. That fear shall make us free. Rather than asking ourselves some more profound questions about our schools and their role in society. People say, you know, academics, that's a word that you know, if you think a normal, everyday conversation, if I say to you, you tell me something, and I say, it's academic. Am I complimenting your point? Am I saying, yes, indeed, that's very important? Just in case you didn't know it. That means that's irrelevant. So in ordinary parlance, academic means it's irrelevant. It's not important. Or if someone comes to me to show me the paper they've just written, and I say, this is a wonderful paper. It's written very academically. Now, if they're writing it for a course in college, they'll beam. If they're writing it for any real audience, they'll say, what do I have to do to make this more interesting? Academic means uninteresting. It means not understandable by most people. So what do we mean by the word academic? Is learning the alphabet academic? Is learning the sounds of the alphabet academic? In fact, in the olden days, you didn't call anything academic until after children had learned to read and write. Those were, what was it, 3 R's or something, and then you joined the academy. But we have taken all these words that once had some meaning, and we've robbed them of their content. So that academic just means it's boring and irrelevant. And if you take a course in something that's called practical math, we know that's stupid math. And if you take something called academic math, that's higher level. But just putting the word academic or practical in front of it changes something from one class to the other. And wasn't it an odd idea to think that if something is useful, it's of less value than if it's academic? This is the world in which we're steeped in, and we hope to steep children in, who will tolerate that for not merely 12 years, 13 years, but for 17 or 18 years. So that was once almost half a life. Now it's true we live longer now, so maybe it's not quite as terrible to spend half of your life incarcerated to learn things that you have. And then teachers spend part of their time trying to convince kids this is important. Like if you're, in the old example was if you're in a train leaving from Chicago and another train is leaving from New York, and this is going 15 miles an hour and this is going from, when will they meet? That was from my generation. I can't remember where they meet. Around Pittsburgh, I think. But I took trains back and forth from Chicago to New York, and I don't recall ever worrying. But that was supposed to convince me that this was useful. We are in a crisis, in my opinion. So I'm going to go to that fast. We are in a real crisis. And I think it's a crisis that has nothing to do with test scores, but, and it's complex to solve, and there may be more than one solution to it. But it's a crisis of how we use our minds well, in Ted Sizer's language. The late Ted Sizer explained that was what he thought the primary, essential, that was coalition of essential schools. The essential was learning to use our minds well, powerfully, intellectually. You know, the kids in Central Park East Secondary School loved to use the word intellectual. Someone introduced them to that word in 7th grade and told them they were learning to be intellectuals. And I don't know, they probably hadn't heard the word much before that, but it appealed to them. More than this will help you to become an engineer, was this will make you an intellectual. And children like to argue. They like ideas. They're fascinated from the time they're born until they die, hopefully. things work. What happened there? A scientist friend of mine told me that the way he'd start every science course was taking kids out to the golf course, he said, but you know what I mean, and lying on your back and looking at the stars. He said, there's not an accident. All of ancient religion and philosophy started looking at the stars and wondering. And it's that the kids have in it, and they're 5 years old, come into our school. And it's that which is burned out of it year after year afterwards. And our job is to keep it alive. And there may be more than one way to keep it alive. And the other way we can do something about it is not have so many things, so many strikes against some kids. We all have strikes against us, but we are the only advanced society with anything close to the income disparities that exist in this country. You know, if America meant something, American democracy, all the way up until, it seems to me, not, you know, I'm old, but it seems to me yesterday, it was that we were the most equal country in the world. That we had left Europe with all its stratifications. This is for those who saw Europe as our heritage, and we came here and we could all be anything. We also have the lowest social mobility of any of the advanced countries in the world. The lowest. You're more likely to remain in the station in life that you were born into in America than in any one of those corrupt European countries, Japan included. I say corrupt in parentheses, you know, the French, things like that. How did that happen? Our infant mortality rate, our life longevity, not to mention the number of people we put in prison. I mean, we don't come close. It's not as though the scale goes like this and we're over here, and the average country's over here. The average country's down here, and we're over there. I mean, literally. There's an article in the Saturday Review of Literature by a man named Tony Jutt, I don't know how to pronounce it, J-U-T-T, that has some graphs on this that are worth looking at. That's a crisis that plays itself out in the healthiness of American democracy. There's absolutely no question that democracy cannot survive long when it's serving such different power structure. When and the recent Supreme Court decision makes it more complicated. When people like Bloomberg with a lot of money